guys, welcome to Mera's YouTube channel.
Shut up.
We'll go over a couple safety things real quick and then we'll get into the demo. First things first, there will be a dog off leash during this demo. So if the dog does come over towards you guys, do not try to pet it, don't try to play with anything. Just stand still, let the handler get control of the dog, and then we'll get going with continue with the demo. So here at AUAB we have dual purpose canines. So what that means is they are certified in detection and bite work, which is what you guys are going to see today, the bite work portion. All of our dogs here are explosive detection dogs. Narcotics, if there is some kind of case that gets found here on base and it starts to become an issue, we'll get a narcotics dog sent in and then we'll utilize that dog as we see fit. But as right now, they're all explosives and they come from different bases all over the United States and overseas. Has anybody ever seen a canine demo before? A couple? All right, so some of the equipment that we have right here, I'm just gonna go over a little bit. This right here is what we call a bite sleeve. So all of our dogs, DOD wide, are trained, other than Special Forces, are trained down at Lackland Air Force Base. In initial training, they'll get what we call a hard wrap, which is what this is. And this will, the only thing they will see for the first 3 months of their training. So they go through 3 months of patrol work, 3 months of detection work. I'll pass this around, you guys can see it, put it on, see how it feels. So with this, you don't feel any of the bite, no pressure, no puncture, nothing like that. It's all just getting that dog. That's a left-handed sleeve, sir. If you got your left hand, you won't feel a little better how it works. So it's just training the dog to learn how to bite and get a full bite and bite and hold on to somebody at the end of the day. So when we get them down to our station or our base, wherever it may be, the way the military works is that dog gets sent to a base and it stays there its entire career. And then it will rotate out handlers as they PCS in and PCS out. Once we get them to our base, it's our job to advance them. So it's kind of the same thing as a troop or as an airman. When we get them into our base, fresh out of, what is it, I think it's IT for you guys?
AIT.
Yes, sir. So, or tech school for us, we got to advance them past that, right? So they know the very basics when it comes to what it is to be a military working dog. It's our job to advance them. So what we do is we get a suit, and these do come with pants. I prefer not to wear them. It cuts off your mobility quite a bit. And there are 3 different kind of suits. So there are competition suits, which gives you the maximum mobility, but the least amount of protection. And then what you see right here is what we call a semi-comp. It's kind of the mixture of both. You get pretty good protection with it, but you can also get a lot of mobility. And then the last one is what we call the marshmallow suit. It's the least amount of mobility, maximum amount of protection. So for you guys who are going to get in the suit today, I'll put you guys in this. That way you guys are somewhat safe. The dog we're going to have out here today, he's probably one of our hardest hitting dogs that we have here. He's a younger pup, but this dog, he hits hard. He runs fast, and he has a pretty strong bite pressure. To give you guys an example, so for an average human, bite pressure is somewhere around 90 psi. For a regular German Shepherd or Belgian Malinois, it's somewhere between 200 and 250. For a trained Belgian Malinois, it gets anywhere between 300 to 450 psi. So you get a regular pet, right? They're not really used to biting, right? We get these dogs, their whole job and their whole payment is biting something, whether it be a toy, a person's arm, leg, back, whatever it is. So they're constantly biting things, so they're building up that muscle in their jaws. So you get some dogs that you get some pretty good bite pressure with them. See almost every handler, they're gonna have bruises all up and down their forearms, on their backs and everything. We get tore up pretty good, but it's part of the job. We enjoy it. So what else? Any questions? I don't want to go too quick, I don't want to miss anything. If you guys have any questions anytime, just raise your hand, I'll be glad to answer.
How old the dogs typically start training?
When they start training, when we get them in the field?
Start training.
Alright, so when they start training, it depends. So there's 2 different kind of dogs. There we call puppy program, which is what the military breeds out at Lackland Air Force Base. And then there are purchase dogs that we get from vendors overseas and stateside. Puppy program dogs, those dogs are usually anywhere between the ages of a year year and a half, maybe sometimes 2 if they have some kind of medical issue. Purchase dogs we get overseas, we usually get right around 1.5 years of age. But for the puppy program, so they breed them down at Lackland, right? They get 2 dogs that perform pretty well in the field, and they have all the right attributes that we're looking for a military working dog, and they breed them together. And there will only be Belgian Malinois, which is what you guys are going to see here today. And when I say these dogs are made for this, they are 100% made for this. They will work until they die, and that's where you as a handler kind of got to step in and make sure the dog's not hurting itself. So you'll see the way he kind of looks at these equipments and stuff. We try to get away from the equipment as quick as possible. Yeah, back to the suit. So we get them to our base, we try to advance them, right? That's why I put these suits on. When they're in training for the first 3 months, all they're getting used to is biting either the right forearm or the left forearm. So we got to get them out of that mindset. When we get them out in the field, there could be multiple reads, right? So we can go to all the way to the extreme with somebody who doesn't have a right arm. If this dog is only trained to bite someone in his right arm, I've seen it before where you can just tuck your arms in, you just run, and these dogs will just run by you, and they don't know what to do. They don't have an arm to bite onto. So we get them in these suits, and they teach these dogs they can bite anywhere. We do chest bites, we do stomach bites, inside biceps, forearms, leg bites, back bites, you name it, we do it. Main reason that is we try to get these dogs, field ready. We want them to know they can perform the job. When we get them out in the field and they get put in any kind of situation, we want to know that they're good to go. So after we get them proficient on biting all over the place, we go to what we call a hidden sleeve. For these, you got to be a pretty advanced decoy. All right, so you all can tell that this right arm is a little bit puffier. All right, you can tell there's a sleeve in there, but for these dogs, they're not really going to notice that. So we get them used to biting ABUs, OCPs, regular sweatshirts. We get it whatever we can, so that way, when they get into the field, they're not looking for these big puffy suits. They're just looking for a normal person. And that's where it comes to being an advanced decoy, to make sure that you present that right arm. Because if you get caught up and you get all in your head and you're running, and you got the sleeve on your right arm, and you present your left arm, you got a bad day on your hands, right? So, and another thing that we use, that if you ever go back to your home station, which I definitely recommend when you guys go back to wherever it is you're stationed at, get with those canine guys. They're going to give you a whole different experience. They'll be able to get you guys into a running bite, which is a lot different than just standing here getting a regular bite. We call it agitation whip. He don't really need it. He loves patrol work enough that we don't have to, build up his drive for it at all. But what we do with this is it's kind of, as you can see, like I said, he doesn't need it. This is more so for those dogs that don't really have that drive for patrol work, and we got to try to build that out of them. So what we'll do is we'll stake him out to a fence with a long line. We'll get this, we'll try to back him down, and then we'll try to just get some kind of aggression or reaction in them, or reaction out of them. And once they do that, we kind of back away and let them win. So the biggest part of being a military working dog trainer is that you never want to back a dog down to the point where he feels like he lost. So if you back a dog down to a fence, to a corner, and he starts cowering away, it is extremely difficult to build that dog's confidence back up to the point where he'll be ready to bite somebody in the field. So with these, when we get them to a point where we feel like they're confident enough in themselves, you will see us, kind of striking the dog. But I don't mean we're not doing it viciously. We're not just beating the shit out of these dogs. We'll tap them a little bit on the head, rub on their face, try to get them used to physical contact with a person. So if we ever do have to send them on somebody in the field, that person's not just going to stand there and be like, hey man, get your dog off. More than likely, if he did something wrong and he's running, he's going to kind of fight that dog. He's going to punch the dog, kick the dog, slam the dog up against the wall. So we try to bring all of that into training so that when he sees it in the field, if he ever does, he doesn't come off of that bike and start cowering away. So, any other questions, Carl?
How long's a career for the dogs?
I'm sorry?
How long's a career for the dogs?
Yeah, so that really depends on the health of the dogs. I've seen, the oldest dog that I've seen work in the military is about 13 years old, which is pretty old for a dog. And I've seen the youngest buck that I've seen retire is about 6 years of age. As the kennel master, the trainer, the handlers, we want to get them out right around that 8 years. That way they get a good, 2 to 4 years on the couch. These dogs go through a lot, and they do everything you ask them to do. So we as trainers and everything, we want to get them on the couch and give them some kind of a normal life. But it's really not up to us. It's up to the vet and how good the dog is performing at their job. So, any other questions? All right. Is he going to do the course with this? We'll do the course after. All right. You ready? Yeah, got something else? So again, the dog will be off leash during this demo. If he comes over here at any time, don't try to pet him or anything, just stand still. The handler will come up and get control of him, or I'll get control of him. That will be good to go. So what you guys are gonna see here is what we call basic 6 phases, all right? So this is different scenarios that we can encounter out in the field. We want our dogs to be prepared for those situations. A lot of our dogs are gear oriented. So as you can see, this is MWD, by the way, it's MWD McEnroe and Staff Sergeant Gudger. He is 4.5, correct? 4.5 years old, and he is the puppy program. The way you can tell he's a puppy program is, one, he's a Belgian Malinois. That doesn't mean he's a puppy program all the time. The only real giveaway is going to be his name. All right, so for puppy program dogs, the first letter of their name will be doubled. So his name is McEnroe, so it's M-M-R, and then to continue on with his name. And as you can see, he is 100% ready to go, so we'll get it started. So this first scenario is what we call a field interview. I'm trying to stay out of you guys' way as much as possible. What this does is it just shows that we find somebody in a restricted area or something like that, we want to get their ID. As long as this person complies and shows us that they're authorized to be in the area, the dog will just watch them and nothing will happen.
Hey sir, could you come toward me at this time? Show me your ID. Sure. Stay. Stay. Step back. Stay.
So the whole time, dog was focused, didn't bite or break at all. So next, kind of the same scenario, but this time, this guy decides he wants to not comply, he wants to run, and the handler will release the dog, bite and hold until he gets up there and gets control of the suspect.
Hey sir, there wasn't something right with your ID. Could you come back toward me?
What you mean? You got a dog. I'm scared of dogs. I'm not
Sir, I need you to come back toward me.
Sir,
Sir, since your bottom order, you can get bit hard.
that dog. Sit down on me.
So these dogs are trained to bite and hold regardless of what's going on, right? So he can thrash, he can throw him, you can push him, rub on his face, the dog will not let go. And so that handler gives him that command.
Back out.
So the next thing after that, right? So when we're on the field, we are by ourselves until we get another patrol out there to be our backup. But until that patrol gets out there, our dog is considered our backup. So this guy just decided he wanted to run, so we got to search this person to make sure he doesn't have any weapons on him, before we can escort him back to our vehicle. And our dog acts as our escort while we're doing that.
Hey sir, at this time I'm going to conduct a search of you. You aren't to make any sudden or aggressive movements. My dog is trained to attack with or without command. Do you understand? I understand. Stay. At this time, go ahead and turn away from the sound of my voice. Spread your arms like a T. Spread your feet. Once again, do not make any sudden or aggressive movements. My dog is trained to attack with or without command. Stay. Stay.
So as you can see, he was ready. All right, so he was ready for what you're about to see next. It's the next step we call search again. But as you heard the handler, the dog is trained to attack on or off leash, with or without command. So when we go up here and we start searching this individual, and he decides he wants to start fighting, we don't have to give the dog any command. He will immediately re-engage that suspect.
Stay. Sir, can you turn and face me at this time? Go ahead and spread your arms like a T. Once again, do not make any sudden or aggressive movement. My dog is trained to attack with or without command. Stay.
Get out.
Dog off me!
Why is it not right here? Match. Out.
You good? All right. Give a quick disclaimer. All right. So these are dogs. All right. They're animals. They have a mind of their own. So when you see him kind of not want to let go as he gives the dog the command of out, it happens. You get in the heat of the moment, you get this dog, all this intensity built up, and he's fighting this person, then you just tell him to out. It can be a little tough for the dog. So one of the things that we do in a real world situation, what we do is called a tactical out. So basically what that is, you just want to show him, just kind of grab the collar. When the dog's on the bite for kind of legal purposes, we don't even want to give the dog the command out. What we'll do is we'll grab him right there underneath the collar like that, we'll roll it up, and we'll basically, what we call escape, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like choking the dog out to get him off of that bite. Multiple reasons, like I said. Number one, being legal. These dogs have a mind of their own. The last 5 years, there's only been 3 authorized bites, DOD-wide, in the military. So, for this dog to get on the bite, and the first time he gets on a real bite, he gets all his blood all over the place, and he gets a real feel of flesh, more than likely he's not going to out. So, we don't want to give this dog the command out. If he doesn't out, this guy takes his support, starts trying to sue us, or whatever the case may be, because the dog didn't out, so we just escape him off. The second reason we do that is just for injury of the person. So as you see, when he's on that bite, he's thrashing his head all over the place, this and that. That's another reason we get control of that head. That way he's not ripping any more flesh than he needs to. So the next one is going to be what we call the escort. So we just searched this guy. He's good to go, no weapons on him. We got to get him back to our vehicle or get him back to another patrol vehicle. Again, our dog acts as our backup until another patrol gets there. So he will guard this individual until we get him back to the vehicle.
Okay. Sir, at this time I'm going to escort you back to my patrol vehicle. You're under the center of aggressive movements by dog. I understand. Stay. Go ahead and move. Guard. Guard. Decoy, go ahead and stop. Good. Heat. Decoy, move. Guard. Guard.
No biting, but complete focus on that decoy to make sure he doesn't have any sudden aggressive movements or he decides he wants to run. If he was to try to run or anything, all the handler has to do is drop that leash and the dog will immediately re-engage. Something we don't like to do that too much for the kind of the reason you saw for that second search. You saw him get ready to get jumpy. He was getting real antsy. These dogs know the game. They get into a rhythm. They know the procedures that we go through, especially when you got a lot of people out here. They know it's a demo, so they'll try to test us a little bit more. So the re-attack, when we're doing the search, the dog just comes with the re-attack. We don't do that when we're doing regular training because we know the dog's going to do it. And then we don't do it during the escort because again, we know the dog's going to do it. We don't want to build any bad habits. So when we're just doing a regular search, this dog just starts breaking every single time because he's already anticipating the next step. All right, so the next one, the last phase, is what we call standoff. It's probably the most difficult task for the dog, and you'll see why here in just a second. So we're gonna go back to that second scenario where we find somebody in a restricted area, try to get their ID, they decide they don't want to give it to us, they want to run, release our dog, and then the suspect decides he wants to give up. We have the ability to call our dog out. The dog will not bite the suspect. He will just go up to him, assume a guard position, until the handler can get up there and get control of the dog and the suspect.
Hey, sir, do you mind come back to where it is this time?
No, I don't feel like the dog, man. The dog just knew last time. I'm not coming.
Sir, I need you to come
No,
forward.
I'm not coming.
This is your final warning, or I will release my dog.
I don't care. Dog.
Get back out!
So he decided he didn't want to listen. All right, so it's training. It happens. Do it one more time. at a little bit of a shorter distance, slower run.
Shut up! Get him back out!
Again, these dogs are extremely smart. They know that if we don't have that leash, we have absolutely no way of correcting this dog's bad behavior. So he knows when we drop that leash, he feels that leash dangling by him. If he doesn't want to listen to us, he really doesn't have to. We can't really do anything until we get up there. At that point, the task is already done. And he got his bite. So Belgian Malinois, the reason that they breed Belgian Malinois, one, they are extremely hard-working dogs. Like I said, they will work until they die. Two, they have the perfect mixture of knowledge, right? So they're extremely smart, they're extremely loyal. And the last reason being is their medical issues are nothing like German Shepherds. German Shepherds have a lot of hip dysplasia and all these other different health issues. These dogs, when they do have them, but it's a lot less likely for them to have them. Here's my favorite story: get these shoots and stuff, just put them outside the fence. So the biggest misunderstanding with these dogs is that they're aggressive, right? So they see how he ran up there and was tearing this dude's arm up. At the end of the day, these dogs are not aggressive. What we do is we utilize their natural habits and natural tendencies, and we just mold them into doing what it is we want them to do, and then reward them for that action. So him biting my arm with this wrap on is the same thing as him biting that red Kong. Same exact thing. Rather than using a ball, he's using your arm as a toy. That's really what it comes down to. Now, there are some mean dogs. I'm not saying there aren't any mean dogs. There are some aggressive and some real mean ones, but for the most part, they're all nice, friendly. Go up to and pet them, but we don't recommend it because they still can bite you if they wanted to.
I'll have you stay outside the fence for a minute. Just because you don't have any gear, I don't want to.
Last thing we're going to show you guys before we get a couple of you guys in the suit is what we call the obstacle course. We're going to wait till we get all that out of here, so we're going to try to go run over there and attack it. So the obstacle course, they're obstacles for one, and two, they're used for different situations that our dogs can encounter out in the field. So the first one, not only is it a tunnel, but it also teaches the dog to get comfortable and used to being in closed, confined spaces. As you can see, he's not so enthusiastic about these as he is bite work, but he's still doing it. The next one over there is called the A-frame. Not only the main reason that we use that is to teach the dog to go up and over something without knowing what's on the other side.
Yes!
Hey! Sit!
Hey! Matt! What's this?
I got diarrhea. Just in case y'all are wondering, I got diarrhea.
I'm a little beefy, you got nervous. He was looking for the suit. That's why he's running over. That's why he's stopping and got here. So you got over there.
Yes!
In that corner.
Sit! Sir!
You got lose my train of thought. I'm about to lose my job too. We got
Down.
what is it? A bridge. Sorry, bridge. So it has slits in between it, so it teaches the dog they can walk over something, even though but they can see through it. You got stairs. You got a hurdle. And probably one of the more difficult ones is the window. This teaches the dog they can go inside of a window, and also trains the handler how to control the dog once he gets through a window.
Sit! Good boy. Center.
You want to give Benny out?
Eat. Bro.
So who you guys gonna get in the suit? How many were there? I think it was you, right? One. Anybody else? One?
I'll get in. I'll get in.
All right. It's not gonna be a running bite. You gotta be standing still. The dog's gonna get on your arm. You gotta get a couple pictures of what it's gonna do.
Yes.
You get Benny out with me. Get Benny out.
That's out.
Any questions
Oh, yeah.
while we're waiting? Get another club out for you guys.
How many dogs you guys got here?
So here we have 7. That's pretty standard around DODY unless it's a larger installation. I think the biggest kennel is usually like Korea. Germany has a pretty big kennel as well, and Andrews. So, but for the most part, 7 is pretty standard.
Do they do any noise training?
One more time?
Like noise training?
What do you mean by that?
Like if there's like any type of like attack, right?
Yeah, so we do gunfire training every single month. It trains the dogs to get them used to gunfire, whether it be coming from the handler or coming from somebody else. Back home station, we go to fire at least once a year as cops, but we try to get our dogs out there to get them that mass firing to get them used to those loud noises. Yeah, so you will see some dogs that are a little bit skittish. That was a good burp. You just gotta train it out and get them around a lot more. The more you get around, the less it'll mean anything to them. So. Anything else? All right.
Thank you all for your time.
We're gonna get
Woo!
Benny out here for you guys. Now I know I said that he was probably one of the hardest hitting and the hardest biting dogs here, but I'm about to bring out probably the hardest biting dog that we do have. His name is Benny. Again, he's a very young pup. I think he's 5. He might even be younger than that. And this one's a German Shepherd. He probably weighs about as much as you do. But Devo over here.
Dramatic effect.
Just about every dog that we have here right now, they take control work very seriously. They love it. I mean, they love it more than anything else. There's probably one dog here that'll do it just because you tell him to do it. You can tell he doesn't really enjoy it. You're doing it, so this dog and the last dog absolutely love it. All right, let me go grab the other shoe real quick. How old is he? Oh, he's 4 again. How much did he weigh?
93 on a heavy day.
93 pounds. There you go. If you guys have any questions, you got to block real quick. I'm gonna grab a suit top.
I can't wait to get to this.
Who's somebody want to get on?
Absolutely. Mr. Mar, you doing it too?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
And the third one, she's going to do it too.
Roger that. He's rough. He's rough. So he's made people that wanted to come out and do the canine thing. He made them like say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm 3 for 3 now. So we'll see.
Not only is he 90-something pounds, but like I said, he probably has the hardest bite in the kennel. He bites extremely hard. The biggest dog that I've seen and I've handled was about 115 pounds. It was just a horse. And again, they bite extremely hard. So, are you ready? You can leave your top on, you take it off if you like. I would definitely recommend taking that watch off unless you want to just do shatter on your wrist. Keep the top on. All the layers. All the protection.
Good thing your sleeves, your hands don't go through.
This is just saying I'm tight. Man, look at you.
You got to scream.
So, that's a new car. A couple things. You got little short arms, all right? So don't ball your fists up. If the dog bites your fist, you'll break your hand. Keep your hand straight. Do not have it outside of the shoe. All right? Straight. You good? You want to take the cover off? Good. All right, man.
Oh, as much close as I can have.
Yeah, we're going to go while we're
Sitting this way.
Okay. So what you're going to do, right? You're going to bring the dog up. All right. You're going to bring the dog up. You're going to turn sideways. You're going to stand exactly like I am. And you're going to put your forearm out. You're going to hold your forearm out just like this. The dog's going to come up and bite. When the dog's on the bite, you're going to fight him left and right. All right, not up and down, left and right. Good to go? Right there? Come on over here, right here. Don't run back here.
You got this, Boris.
Turn sideways. Forearm out, bend down just a little bit. There you go. You gotta fight the dog. Don't let the dog fight you.
Come on, Brad. Come on, fight
Ain't nobody worried about
Whenever you're ready, go and stop.
Stand him up. If we give the dog a 10 for this.
When the dog comes off, don't move.
Sit. I looked him in the eyes.
I think that right. Weird, man. I want to fight you.
He's looking around.
Come on, this way.
Good job not moving. I was like,
I can see myself in the front. Paralyzed.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right, again, he's gonna bring him up. All right, you're gonna turn sideways, forearm down, make sure you have a little bit low. When he gets on the bite, make sure you find left or right, not up or down. And then listen to handler. When he tells you stop, stop until the dog gets off. If the dog's off the bite, don't move until he tells you. Good?
is that your cornhole throwing arm? We're playing tonight.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably make him better.
Oh, yeah. Hold him.
Hell.
Hold him.
Give him something.
There you go. Go ahead, you can swing.
Are you fighting? There you go.
Don't twist his leg. Don't twist his leg. There you go. All right. Just stand him up. Benny, out. Sit.
No, you're the big dog, right? And everybody likes as a hammer, right?
Sit.
You want a big dog, right? Big, scary looking dog.
Oh, damn.
That's not necessarily true, right? So when we
Yeah,
go and we gotta pick this dog up. I'd much rather have a 45-pound, 50-pound dog rather than a 100-pound dog. You can throw him over my shoulder, walking half a mile or a mile, whatever the case may be. So,
How you feeling? How you feeling?
The motherfucker was pitching me. This is a big ass suit for him to be doing that. Yeah, it was cool.
Anybody else? Let's go.
It was cool. My adrenaline was like
We got
through the
enough
roof.
time for 2 more.
Through the roof.
My adrenaline's through the roof. Hell yeah. And I'll try to swing him. Like, ugh.
Like he's drool. Oh, he's drooling. Oh.
Say something to him. Now, nigga, come on here for me. Watch. Watch. Get. Oh. Get.
Oh, I'm okay with that. He's a good dog.
Back and forth.
Out. Out.
It's not bad.
Who's getting in?
I think I got the best one.
That is dope.
The other one,
How you feeling? What happened?
I'm feeling straight. Look,
You hurting?
do I got a mark on my elbow? Let's see.
Oh yeah, you do. Right there. Damn, fam. Be like that.
The dog's fucking. Excuse my language. The dog was messing me up.
I felt the tension. I was like, hey, yo.
I don't think the dog knows Tim McGraw. So
Be like that. Okay, the ball.
Left to right.
Hey, your head's turning the same color as the jacket.
Benny. Out. Sit. Sit. Sit.
all of them done.
Yeah.
Good job, Betty.
Special forces, that's totally different. They go through their own own course that's not military, and they buy their dogs from this vendor as well. Any other questions at all about anything? So a couple other breeds that we have one other breed here. So obviously you have German Shepherds. German Shepherds can look a little bit different than most dogs. Belgian Malinois, which you saw earlier. And then the last breed you'll see will be fourth dog on the right is what we call a Dutch Shepherd. I don't know if anybody's ever seen one. Personally, my favorite looking dog. They look awesome. They got this brindle coat. And they're just like a Belgian Malinois, but with a different coat for the most part. And they're really good looking pups. So, no questions about anything? Yes.
So, do you guys prefer a specific gender of the dog over the other or no?
Personally, I don't. Military doesn't either. Usually you will find more male dogs than there are females. It's not, we're not picking them that way. It's just kind of how it happens. So, yeah, no preference for me personally.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot either. I was just asking.
My favorite kind of dog, breed-wise, to work would definitely be a Belgian Malinois. I love German Shepherds. They're probably a little bit smarter, but they have a little bit more health issues. And Belgian Malinois will work. Man, I'm telling you, I had a Belgian Malinois, probably the same size as him, really big. We go patrol work one day, and we were trying to get the dog to aggress on the person rather than the equipment. So the decoy, not really thinking, took the wrap off, threw it out of a 2-story window, went and hid behind a door. We went inside with the dog, cut the dog off leash. Instead of going to the door, the dog flew out of the window for the wrap. And he came, obviously my heart dropped. I was scared, I thought I was gonna lose my job again. We go downstairs, he's coming up, he meets us halfway, mouth all bloodied, had the wrap in his hand, just happy as could be. He knocked all of his front teeth out on the top and the bottom. So, I mean, like I said, they'll go, for sure.
You gonna force retire the dog at that point?
What was that?
Force retire the dog at that point?
No, he was good to go. That's the dog that worked till he was 13.
Damn.
He was about,
Hell yeah!
he was about 7 when that happened, so he worked a little while longer.
Either like, share, subscribe, or go and list right now. Or both. Just be useful.